Welcome. We are continuing with second feature, Transcendental Content Flow of Organization Mathematics of Geeta text. We have seen that this feature is taking us to the middle location of the text of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. This placement takes us at the end of the 9th chapter and at the beginning of the 10th chapter. The 18 chapters range is divided as first part and the second part. It is this placement where is a placement of hypercube 6 space body, that is the sun. Therefore, this feature for chase of the organization format of Srimad Bhagavad Gita fixes placement for hypercube 6, that is for the sun at the middle. And hypercube 6 we know is a fourfold manifestation layer, and this is of summation value 22. It is because of it that the text of first 9 shlokas has value 350 plus 22, and the other part is of values 350 minus 22. Likewise, we had seen that format, the Gita Pranam shlokas, is leading us to additional value 45, and 45 we see is equal to 2 multiplied by 22 plus 1, means it is 45 versions of hypercube 22. Let us have a pause and make a specific note as that the text of Srimad Bhagavad Gita is manifested with the center of the value of hypercube 6 of value 22, and its format determined by the Gita Pranam shloka takes us to the additional value of 45 versions of hypercube 22. The text is focusing upon the placement of a sun at the middle as of the format of hypercube 6 of value 22. The format is taking us to the availability of 45 versions of hypercube 22. As such, this pravaha, this content have first focus upon hypercube 6 as of value 22, and then at hypercube 22 itself, which leads to value 45 as 45 versions of hypercube 22. We will be elaborating these features subsequently when we will be taking up the additional features, but for here up till this stage it be taken that the organization takes us to hypercube 6 as format of sun, and it is of middle placement. Hypercube 22 is the value, additional value, formatting value of 45 versions, which take us from the manifested state of the text to the Gita Pranam shloka, the format of this manifestation. Now let us see that the text as it is taking us to that there is a sagun, means the manifested features, and nirgun, which are unmanifested transcendental format. The formulation Sagun is of Tc value 18 and formulation Nirgun is of value 26. Value 18 is of organization 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6, that is of hypercube of 5, while value 26 is 5 plus 6 plus 7 plus 8, that is hypercube 7. As such, this format of placement of the sun at the middle and its formatted values of 45 versions are making a format of transcendental content which permits its chase as hypercube 5 and hypercube 7. It is this simultaneous chase as hypercube 5 and hypercube 7 which is the attainment of the divine dialogue of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. The discipline, the domain value, the content, the enlightenment, the mathematics, technologies of the text of Srimad Bhagavad Gita as such are of dual expression, simultaneous dual expression as Sagun, hypercube 5 format, and as Nirgun of hypercube 7 format. Values 18 and 26 deserve to be glimpsed again, as we know that modern mathematics endeavor of the last full century is to have a classification of the groups as 18 infinite series and as 26 party groups. Now, this attainment or this reach of the modern mathematics by having classification of groups as 18 infinite series and as 26 party groups appears to be the big achievement, and this achievement is a result of complete 1 century efforts of all range of the mathematical minds of this century. But the Vedic systems have attained it much earlier at a preliminary stage, and now as the modern mathematics is faced with the situation as to how this result of classification is to be made of manageable comprehension by the human mind for its full values, for having a chase of the existence phenomenon of our solar universe. The Vedic systems have successfully worked it out in a very, very manageable form as a single alphabet of human articulated voice, of human articulated language. Mathematics as a speaking language is the success attainment story of the Vedic systems, and Srimad Bhagavad Gita is the index of this achievement. We as sadhakas fulfilled with intensity efforts to be parallel with this achievement, to be in a position to comprehend, imbibe these values, to be parallel with the Vedic systems, Vedic mathematics, Vedic sciences, we shall chase the Vedic systems the Vedic way. The Vedic way to chase Vedic systems is that we shall be in a position to comprehend, imbibe, and to work out the formulations like Vyasti Samesti. It is Ganita Sutra 11. We know there are 16 Ganita Sutras and 13 Sutras. these sutras text are giving us word formulations. These are the compositions which are availing Devanagari alphabet letters. Therefore, we having require desire and anxiety to be parallel with the Vedic systems have to begin with the Devanagari Varnamala, Devanagari alphabet, and the first stage for its application is that we shall be well acquainted with the script form of these letters as well as the values attached, the placement values of the letters attached in this alphabet. These values, placement values of the alphabet letters are designated as transcendental code values. As such, the beginning of the chase, beginning of the learning, beginning of the comprehension, beginning of imbibing of the values of the Vedic systems is going to be step number 1, and it is to be parallel with the placement values of the alphabet letters. This, in practical terms, would mean that we shall be in a position to reach at the transcendental code values of the individual word formulations. Today, as a test, as an exercise, we are taking up the formulation Surya Rath, chariot of the sun. We have seen that sun is at the middle placement, and this middle placement is of the format of hypercubes 6. It is of value 22. So sun, which is of a middle placement, it in a dynamic state, sun, Surya, hypercube 6, 6-space body, in a static state is a fourfold manifestation layer of value 22. The sun in a dynamic state will be having an additional value. This additional value will transit and transform from value 22 to value 23. As such, let us make a specific note as that sun in a dynamic state, 6-space body in a dynamic state, is going to be of value 23. Transcendental code value 23 is the value of the dynamic state of sun, dynamic state of a Surya, dynamic state of hypercube 6, dynamic state of 6-space body, the dynamic state of our solar universe. Vedic systems chase existence phenomenon of our solar universe as a universe in a dynamic state. This dynamic state value is 23. The static state value is 22. We have seen that the Divya Ganga Parvaha, as it is, takes us from the manifested state of the text of Srimad Bhagavad Geeta to its format of a Gita Pranam Shloka, which leads to an additional value 45 with a split organization as 22 and 23. The value 23 leads to the static format for the first 9 chapters text, and the value 23 takes us to the second half of the text of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, that is from chapter 10 to chapter 18. This, as such, as a setup of a pair of hops, takes parallel to the split of our solar universe, a solar sphere, a universal sphere, as a synthetic setup of a pair of hemispheres. The first hemisphere of the format of value 22 is northern hemisphere. The second hemisphere is of value 23. So it is the second hemisphere format of value 23 which is bringing us face to face with the dynamic state format beneath the text of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Now, it is this dynamic state which is being taken as a Surya Rath, chariot of a sun. Let us glimpse the formulation Surya Rath. This formulation is availing as many as 9 letters. Let us reach at this table of formulation of Surya Rath, the chariot of a sun. This formulation has first letter Sa, which is of TC value 3. The second letter is elongated third vowel U of TC value 6, and therefore summation value up till the first pair of letters comes to be 9. The third letter is Ref. It is of value 2, so the value 11. Next letter is Ya, Anthasta letter of value 1, takes to value 12. Then first vowel, value 13. Value Ref, 3 of 16. Then first vowel 17. Then the Varga letter of the fourth row of value 5 to 22, and at the end we reach at value 23. So Surya Rath, the chariot of the sun, is a technical formulation. When I say it is a technical formulation, that means it has an added features added to the mathematical formulations. Surya Rath is a word formulation. It is of a mathematical values, mathematical features. This mathematical features setup of this formulation are further leading us to the technical formulation. By technical formulation means the mathematics in its applied value state, and this applied value state is the state when we will make yantras, machines, tantras, its working setups, mantras, its applications, roots, and jantris, the charts, how the existence, achievements of these machines in terms of these machines are to be organized for a chase of its index achievements as a time calendar. So these are the quadruple features of the technical meanings. So formulation Surya Rath as a machine on which will be a carrier of 6-space body for its path in the universe, with the pole star as its center, pole star as an origin. Sun moves, sun in a dynamic state is revolving around the pole star. Therefore, the transcendental content flow is going to be a flow for the dynamic state hypercube 6 solar universe having revolutions around the pole star. We know Sun as a 6-space body would mean 6 space as a domain and 4 space going to be its dimension. It will be leading us to a grid 4 into 6, leading us to value 24. And we know this grid 4 into 6 accommodates 24 double-digit letters of 5-place value system. As such, Surya Rath as a chariot of 6-space body would mean that its chase, its mathematics for its applied values is going to be of the grid 4 into 4, 4 into 6, and it would be the double-digit numbers of a 5-place value system. So the transcendental content, a 5-space content, which is manifesting the transcendental boundary of a 6-space a raised to power 6 is to 12b raised to power 5, and when it is going to have a flow, a transcendental flow, 5-space content, then it will amount to that one of the boundary component strips off. With this one of the boundary components stripping off from the transcendental boundary of 6-space means here there will be a window. It is called a cosmic window. Here window is created. From this window will flow the 7-space value, 7-space which is to be created by the 5-space as a dimension. That means the black matter, the flow from the pole star within the solar universe is going to be through this cosmic window. As such, the yantra, tantra, mantra, jantris, all those machines, all those mechanical bodies, mechanical mathematics, mechanical features, mechanical details, mechanical setup, mechanical formulations are being made available in big details in the text of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. We are preparing ourselves, we are initiating ourselves that we shall be face to face with the mathematics and its applied values for chase of the existence phenomenon of our solar universe as per the ancient wisdom, as per the Vedic mathematics, as per the Vedic systems. Now, all this mathematics, its formulations, its details for the machines, for the structural setup of machines, for fabrication of its components, for detailing of its organization steps, for chase of the timeline of its progression along these machines, whole set of knowledge is there in these formulations. To have an illustration that the formulation Vyasti Samisti is taking us that part can be whole. To have a comprehension of it, let us visualize there is a square and there is a square within a square. The outer square is having its corner points, its edges and area. But inside this square, every part of it, every component of it, may it be corner point or edges or area, all are the structural setups of points fulfilled with the structures of 2-space itself. So here are the points of 2-space. Here the lines of the 2-space points. Here is an area of 2-space points. So the outer square and the inner square are fundamentally of different structural setups. Step ahead, a cube within cube, then create a hypercube 4 within hypercube 4, then hypercube 5 within hypercube 5, and hypercube 6 within hypercube 6. All these setups, all these mathematics is sequentially available in these formulations. Therefore, we have to chase these formulations the Vedic way. And the Vedic way to chase these formulations is that the letters of these formulations shall be approached by the initial value as per the placement values of the individual letters. So these letters, when we'll see the Vyasti, it will giving us value 20, and Samisti, it will be giving us value 25. We know here the grade 4 cross 6 will give us to value 24, and value 25 will transcend it. It is this transcendence from the manifested format as a subject domain having been chased without having an actual chase of it. So by chasing only this much formatted domain, we will have a chase of it as well. So it is Vyakt and Avyakt, manifest and unmanifest, Sagun and Nirgun are going to be simultaneously chased. Before we conclude today's chase, let us visit a pentagon. Pentagon is a 5-space body print out into space. Now, internal diagonals create an internal pentagon. So, pentagon within a pentagon is of a feature that none of the internal diagonal passes through the center. And as the pentagon within a pentagon is of a feature that none of the diagonals pass through the center, so this phenomenon will be ad infinitum. It is this ad infinitum feature which is being fully chased by the Vedic systems. We shall be chasing all these features, but here initially to have a glimpse of that this Surya Rath formulation, C is 3, 6, 2, 1, 1, 3, 1, 5, 1. So we can chase it like this: 36, then 21, then it is 13, and then it is 15, and then it is 1. We know this value 36 is 6 square. It is a summation value of 1 to 6. These are 13 versions of hypercube 6, and it is going to be a dimensional frame, solid dimensional frame of a 5-space, and it is here where we are having a sequential progression for the static state, for their transition and transformation into a dynamic state. So how big figure it is? 36 will be into 10 raised to power 7, 21 will be 10 raised to power 5, 13 will be 10 raised to power 3. So it is 36 crores 21 lakhs 13,000 and 151. So big is the value. It is this big value of these different sequential placements along a 10 place value system parallel to the format of creative boundary of 10 components of hypercube 5, that this formulation is preserving the values. These values are ultimately will lead us to the practical reach for fabrication of a chariot of a sun. And we know the Jantri, it is of value 22, it is of hypercube 6. So it is along the timeline of the format of a hypercube 6, and the unit being availed is yojan, and the formulation yojan is of TC value 174181, 9, 8, 30, and 922. Therefore, yojan is a unit of the cosmic universe, and this value is parallel to the value of hypercube 6, and this value is parallel to the formulation Jantri. So it is the timeline, it is the time unit which is being availed by the Vedic systems and the text of Srimad Bhagavad Geeta in its organization, in terms of its formulations of its text, is preserving all the basic values of the Vedic systems, Vedic mathematics, Vedic sciences, and Vedic technologies. One shall sit comfortably, permit the transcending mind to be parallel with these initial features of the organization of the text of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. From tomorrow, we shall be proceeding further with the additional features to have a glimpse of step-by-step reach of Vedic mathematics for the organization format of the text of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Thank you very much.